for me, I grew up in church. Unfortunately, I didn't always follow that path. Had kids, married, had some kids. It was not a biblical relationship. It didn't start off as a biblical relationship, and there were a lot of complications. There was some abuse. I had separated with him for 3 weeks before he had his car accident and passed away right before Christmas. It was a struggle to work through all of that, to be relieved that I was a single mom, but still feeling guilty that I was relieved that I was a single mom. I knew that I needed God. I went straight to him. There was no other choice. My life centered around my kids, God, church, family. That was it. And I wasn't interested in having another relationship.
We lived on a farm. Dad was very strict. Mom and Dad, they got divorced. Didn't grow up with a good view of marriage. When I was 19, I met my future wife. It was basically just sex when we first started. I went into the military. When I was in basic training, my girlfriend called and told me that she was pregnant. And I was debating whether, I should do the proper thing or just keep moving on. Well, drill sergeant come up to me and he said, "Soldier, you're going to do the right thing. You're going to go home and you're going to marry her." So that's what I did. We had a shaky marriage. I had proof that she was not faithful. And I decided that, I was done. And that's when I started the long 25 years of doing all the wrong things. I played the field, drinking, drugs. And then my mom, she had been saved for a long time. And my stepdad, he was a real gruff railroader. One day she said, "Ray got saved." I said, "Really?" I went over and we were talking, and I could see a completely different man in front of me. And it was just like, well, if God can do that to him, why can't God do that for me? So I started going to church, and then I got saved. I go to Florida because of job situation. My pastor, he said, "Hey, we're going to have a Bible study." So I said, "Sure, why not?" So I would try to be the last one, and I'd come in, and there's a whole bunch of new people. And so I, get people to slide around. And when I look up, I see Shannon. People say that love at first sight doesn't exist. Well, I'm here to tell you, I fell in love with her. My pastor, one day he got hold of me. He said, "Hey, there's a young widow with some kids that needs some work done on her house." And I said, "Yeah, I think I can help her out." I pull into the driveway, and as I'm getting out, she comes out, and it's like, wow, her. And that's when we started dating.
We took our time getting to know each other. It was really important for us because of the kids. One thing that we both wanted, even early on in our relationship, was to honor God. We were never alone together inside of the house. If Nana wasn't around or the boys weren't around, we sat outside on the patio the whole time. We were never in a situation where the appearance of evil existed. We wanted to be very God-honoring and put him in the center of our relationship. Being in relationships in the past that didn't work out because we weren't honoring God, we knew what the right path was.
When I told our pastor that we were going to get married, "If you guys are going to get married," he said, "I want you to read this book,
Saving Your Second Marriage Before It Starts."
And it explained how people bring in luggage from their past, and that the only way that you weren't going to bring this luggage with you was to talk it out. And then there was no surprises.
We were able to bring everything out in the open, talk about it, work through it, because some of those things were big things for me that I had dealt with in the past, and without praying through those and talking through those and being open and honest, they were going to drag us down.
The first time we started talking about our past, it was really difficult, because, these were secrets. The more we talked, the easier it got. You have to have communication, no matter how hard it is, and you got to be honest. I can't say the first year was not hard.
We were two very independent head of household types. Doing this biblically and honoring God put us a step ahead, but in some ways you would think that it put us a step back because we didn't know the idiosyncrasies. We didn't get to see those things because we weren't living together. So we had to rely on God and working through it and understanding and patience. The big things in our lives that are difficult for marriages to begin with are still difficult for us, but we're keeping God in the center of it. It's not just the two of us, it's the three of us.
Right.
And that is a strong bond.